Hello, everybody, and welcome to Western Oklahoma Sports Night on a Wednesday night, hot Wednesday night in Western Oklahoma. I am Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, coming to you live here on Facebook at Lawdog Sports, talking sports, previewing the high school and Division II college football season for Western Oklahoma. That would include SWOSU, Weatherford, Clinton, Elk City, Sayre, Thomas, Watonga. A lot of Wright Media influence through that one there. Luke Clement joins me, and he is the sports director at Wright Media. How are you doing tonight, Luke?
I'm doing good, Chuck. How are you?
Man, good. I don't know. I had an inkling. I was watching a friend of mine that does a live out of Lubbock, talking all things Texas Tech, and I thought, it's overdue. We had talked about doing something live about a month ago, I think, and then it's always like, well, let's can't. It's like a balancing act. You have to wait for the coaches to kind of, you don't really know all that much until school starts, and then they're busy with school starting, and they're close to the vest. I mean, it's a funky time in August for sports, and I feel bad for the guys that really have to cover, like D1 sports this time of year, because you got to do a little bit of speculation on some things. And man, if you're wrong, get prepared. The Twitter posse will be on your tail.
Get prepared for the backlash, no doubt. You always talk about when you were doing radio in Texas and all of the small Texas colleges that you had to cover. And that just sounds like a headache.
Oh yeah. Corey Hogue, who was my co-host on a lot of our broadcasts when we were on KSEY in Seymour, Wichita Falls, he covered, that is his specific calling, is covering FCS, D2, D3, and NAIA. And I mean, Texas has a ton of those schools. I mean, it's just, and it's funny because like he's doing podcasts now for Sam Houston State, who's D1 now, and in the Group of Five Conference USA. And then also he's got his own podcast going. He's an interesting guy, a war vet from Iraq, and was a lot of fun to do a show with him. But now he's and what sucks is he was a writer for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And then this last summer, they just say, you know what, thanks for coming out, So he had that going on, but now he's enterprising and doing some other stuff. But yeah, it was between all of, imagine this, Luke. You cover Hydro-Eakly baseball, you do their broadcast, you cover all these Western Oklahoma sports. Imagine if like all of these combined schools, Oney, Eakly, Sickles, Custer City, Dill City. Imagine if they just got together, had their own school, and said, we're going to play 6-man football. That's what you would be looking at if it were similar to the state of Texas. It would be a lot of work on your end, pal.
Well, I know this time of the year, it's been busy the past couple of months trying to talk to, everybody's football coach, softball, this handful of schools that have volleyball, fall baseball. There's a bunch. Everybody just likes to think about the football and talk about the football this time of year, but there's a lot of other things going on too.
Yeah. And, you're fortunate in the, and you took over for me at Wright Media. I was doing that job for a couple of years before you stepped in, and I'm old and fat and retired. So it's like, there's a lot of effort and grind to be doing it 53, I guess I was at the time. But, the funny thing about it, Luke, is, Weatherford Clinton is a pocket, and then to cover you're based out of Weatherford, to cover Sayre or Merritt, it's a 45-minute to an hour drive.
Yeah. Same thing with Watonga.
Same thing with Watonga. And, it's so expansive out here in Western Oklahoma. It's really cool in a way, but man, if you're really wanting to give good coverage, it is tough. And I've always said the Elk City station, 101.7 The Zoo, if they had a sports guy, you could really expand the coverage. I mean, a guy who's based in Elk City that could get to, because like I think I tagged you on a post on Facebook earlier. I think the Cheyenne softball coach.
Yes. Got his 100th win. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, Levi.
Levi Pierce?
Levi Pierce, I think. 100th win. And, if I whiffed on that because I still try to keep up with stuff and get stuff like that. But also, you're kind of dealing with some competition. Those schools are with another network. So, you jump in where you can and try not to step on toes. But luckily for you, especially once football season gets going and the broadcasts are steady, you get results, you get some stats, and you get sound bites. That's the big thing.
Once football season and next week, I'll have my first broadcast of the year. I get to do hydro, softball, and baseball next week. So we'll have sound bites. Starting this week, we had stats and game recaps with fall baseball and softball and stuff. So it's starting to pick up, and before long, we're going to have coaches interviews for football and highlights and stuff like that. It's getting exciting.
For sure. And, softball and baseball have gotten underway, and I follow a page on Twitter called Sooner State Baseball Report. Newt Huntley out of Norman does a great job. That is his sole focus, is high school baseball in the state of Oklahoma. And, Arapahoe Butler, they have got quite a squad going over there, and a lot of potential for them. And Fort Cobb Broxton gives up the number one player in the MLB draft, and I think they're still just as good as they have been. I mean, they're plowing through some of the competition in their class.
The kid that has stuck out to me every time I look at their box scores, his name is Mason Lute. His last name is spelled kind of funny, but it's Lute. He's had I think they've played 3 games, and he's got 2 home runs. So pretty good numbers to start the year off.
Yeah. Well, and I went out to Raider Park on Monday and caught Weatherford softball getting started as the fast pitch is underway in Western Oklahoma. School started for Weatherford last week, but they took on Luqueba Sickles, and man, it's going to be a fun season. You lose 3 seniors, 2 of them playing D1, big D1 softball, Florida State and Washington. And for people that don't understand, before OU went on this phenomenal tear, there was a time back in the 90s and the 2000s that Pac-12 softball was the top. I mean,
Florida State softball.
Yeah, Florida State, they've been awesome. And then also back in the day, man, the California teams and the West Coast teams, they really put it out there. And now UW is in the Big Ten, and that means Marley Teasley, the former Weatherford Lady Eagle, will be out there. And then Harley Chisholm, also a former Weatherford Eagle, is at Florida State. So a lot of, the team loses 2 D1 talents. You're not going to be the same after losing that, but I was impressed with the girls they had. They're going to work, they're going to dig, and I think they're going to scratch out a big playoff run. That's my feel right now. Can I jump out on a limb and say they're going to defend and repeat? I don't know. I don't know Fast Bitch. I don't know the other squads in Class 4A, who's returning what. I know there'll be some tough competition in their own district, Elk City, Woodward, and Kingfisher. But, I mean, they look like a squad that I think, with Macy Thane in the circle and then just, timely hitting, I think they can do some things.
You kind of led me to where I was going. Marley Teasley last year, she was the pitcher, and nobody hit off of her. But Macy Thane, she transferred in from Mountain View Godibo. This is her second year with Weatherford. She strikes out 14 in her senior year debut, which is pretty cool. Then you have to remind me of the name, but the catcher who's committed to Southern Nazarene,
Caitlin Bryant.
She's a senior, and several younger players that are going to have to step up and fill big roles. But I think they have what it takes.
Another year of 3 seniors, and one of those seniors, Camry Bryant, is a junior. Or I'm sorry, Camry Bryant is injured, but you've got Peyton Mills, Caitlin Bryant, and now Caitlin's a junior. No, she's a senior.
I think Caitlin Bryant's a senior.
Yeah. Crystal Blackwell chiming in saying junior year.
For Caitlin?
Yeah, well, maybe Macy. I know Macy's a junior. Macy Thane is a junior. So okay. I think we got that squared away, but I got my roster right here. How about we confirm it?
Yeah, there we go.
Caitlin Bryant, senior, Peyton Mills, senior, and Camry Bryant, senior, and Camry is injured. I think she's out for the season. But I tell you, Rick Morris, they've got, Crystal Blackwell confirming. Kate, Peyton, and Macy are, Caitlin and Peyton are seniors. Macy's a junior. Yeah. So Macy Thane transfers in. She has a great year, kind of backing up Marley Teasley. But anyway, there's a lot of softball going on, and they've got the I-40 Classic coming up this weekend. That's going to have a lot of competition in it as well. And then I think I saw on Twitter where Kingfisher girls beat Bethany in softball. So that'll be a lot of talent in Class 4A softball, and it'll be fun to watch. So we'll be on the air on Wright Media, Weatherford Eagles TV, for their district opener August 25th. That'll be a lot of fun as we get going with that. But
who are they playing that day?
Oh, you would ask me that. It was dadgummit, Luke, and I don't have a schedule here with me.
We'll just scrub that up from the air.
Yeah, but there's no scrubbing. We're live now. We are live on Facebook, and it is a tough district. Thank you, Crystal Blackwell, for chiming in. She could probably tell me who the first opponent is. But it is, it'll be fun this year. Clinton is looking to kind of get something going again. Elk City, they were right there on the cusp last year, except for Weatherford having such a great squad last season. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the Lady Eagles are going to be extremely competitive in Class 4A again. So softball, baseball, you'll have, like you said, Hydro-Eakly, and I think they lost to AB earlier last week.
Yesterday, they were actually no hit by Arapahoe Butler yesterday.
Yeah. So Hydro's always quality, and it's just one of those things where there's so much talent in fall baseball, and now your days at Union City, did you play fall baseball?
No way, that's not cool.
Minko grad, Luke Clement, Minko grad. So anyways, but it's there's so much still to come, but they are getting underway. And that just means more heaped on your plate for sure with the fall baseball and softball. But I tell you, football this year, I'm looking forward to it. And
it's the bread and butter right there, right?
It really is. I mean, that's where we are a football state. We might not have the numbers that the state of Texas has, but the passion is there as well. And, starting with District 1 of Class 4A, we'll start from top to bottom, start high class to smaller class. But the Weatherford Eagles and the Clinton Red Tornadoes, Elk City, Woodward, everybody's looking to find something out from last season. And you've got Elgin there in the same district defending state championship in Class 4A, and they're picked number 1 again by Pigskin Preview.
Elgin is a really good team. They were stacked last year with D1 talent. I know they graduated a lot of that D1 talent, though, so it'll be interesting to see what they got in the chambers.
Yeah.
Weatherford, I think the big question with them is really the quarterback. You graduate senior quarterback and a bunch of seniors. It'll be interesting to see who can step up in some of those big positions. You graduate CJ Nixon. He's playing for the Sooners right now. He's going to be a big presence to fill.
Yeah.
Clinton, they got a little bit of experience now in their backfield with Easton Powell. He's a sophomore quarterback. It'll be interesting to see how he developed through the offseason.
When I talked to Coach Higbee, and we'll get to Weatherford here in just a second, but when I talked to Coach Higbee, I can tell he'll give you a good sound bite, and he'll try to hold it close to the vest. But on a video interview, I could read him a little bit and tell his excitement and confidence with Easton Powell. And 1 year in the system, he'll be a sophomore, I believe, this season. And I know they realize he's got a big arm. And obviously he's the younger brother of Caden Powell, who was the state championship quarterback back in 2021. Really, Caden almost led them to state, him and the Crumley brothers in basketball in 22. They were a missed free throw away from beating Douglas and playing Weatherford for a chance to go to state. But I could tell Coach Higbee, Clinton's going to Clinton. I mean, they're going to do what they do, belly option, all the pitch game and things like that. But with a coach that, with a quarterback that they realize they can go to the air, and I know that they've got some speed. I know Coach Higbee's he's excited.
I was going to say, you kind of said it for me. I don't know if there's a better offense and a better system for a quarterback to develop than Clinton. They've been running that system for a very long time. They know what a successful quarterback looks like in that type of offense. So I can see why Coach Higbee would have a bunch of confidence and excitement for Pal.
For sure. And Ethan Laughlin, that kid's a big kid. I mean, he's great at the corner three in basketball, and they're going to line him up at tight end. And I tried to ask Coach Higbee in the interview, you guys, you come in third in district, but yet you still go on the road and get your first round win. It's just penciled in. They're going to win home or away. They're going to win first round.
That Blanchard game was a lot of fun to watch from on the stream. A big win for Clinton there.
Yeah. So Clinton will be on Wright Radio again on 97.3 The Score, as well as Clinton Red Tornado TV, Wright Media, Dennis Smith, Alan Bryson, and my good friend Marty Wandry, who I think since we're talking high school sports right now, I can't mention his business, but get by and see Marty in Clinton. If you're there, you'll know. If you're over 21, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Great guy.
Weatherford is returning a few players that got time last year. I think I looked at the roster, and I count 8, Luke, who played any extended significant minutes. Now there's some guys who got some regular mop up time in some of the blowouts and things like that. But it all starts on the offensive and defensive lines with Coach Taylor Sauceman's squad. And I know that, they're looking at really throwing the bulk out on their competition, Class 4A. Jace Rosenkrantz is a monster kid, 6'5", 280. And then you got Jordan Martinez, who's 6'1", 260. And, you can kind of book in right there. I know they're big on Lucas Bird, who's another one that has he played some quality minutes last year as well. And he would make 9. So 9 would be the total. I would have maybe another one, Austin Burkeen, 10 possibly. But they're breaking in a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience, and they've got to figure out a way to get confidence going early with those guys. Yeah. And really a Kingfisher team coming into Woody Roof Field on September 5th that returns some pretty good players from last season, particularly Jet Birdwell, the kid that was he kind of took over at quarterback, if I remember right, and he's a very talented athlete. And then also I think some of the linemen a couple of the linemen they had last year, they're going to be big on them. So Weatherford's got to get going. Like you mentioned, you lose CJ Nixon, you lose Stone Chisholm, you lose Steele Chisholm, and offensive line, defensive line, one thing, but linebacker core. I mean, you've got one guy basically, I think Preston King coming in who had significant minutes, a few players in the secondary that they'll be able to rely on. And, you're replacing 2 senior cornerbacks from last season as well, and Nick Jett and Cy Scamhorn. So it's going to be a lot of proving with Weatherford, but I'm looking forward to it because I see some of those kids, Luke, and like Luke Downs, one of your names. He's the younger brother of Ethan Downs, who got a couple of tackles last week for Jacksonville
against my Steelers.
That's right. So, but he's a big kid. I mean, he's not Ethan big, but he's a big kid. And, I'm just going to say this. If those kids go out there and play with some reckless abandon and really can just play as a unit, everybody do their job, I don't think there's near the gloom and doom that some people are maybe predicting with all of the senior losses they had.
Definitely not. The one good thing about having a team full of youth is they've been sitting behind CJ Nixon and the Chisholm brothers and all of these great athletes. And them sitting on the sideline, that just grows eagerness, and they wanting them to play even more. So when they get that first chance, I mean, it's all gas, no brakes when they get out there on the field.
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's kids that, and plus I think they were, from what Coach Sauce told me, they were really excited about their freshman team last year. So there's going to be kids coming in as sophomores that they're going to give opportunities. And, I'll say this, and it's always tricky when you're talking to a coach. When you have that many seniors like they did last year, you're shooting for what they've worked 4 years for. And a lot of those kids played a lot of downs in their high school career. And I get it, but I'm the type, and I know this is why I'm not a coach, but I'm the type that looks at it and says, well, maybe I ought to get this guy a few meaningful snaps, throw him in there in the mix just to see. But then, if they're not ready for it, they make a mistake, then it blows up on you. I don't know. It's a fine line, I'm sure. Now, my high school basketball coach had no problem. He was ready to move on to some sophomores over me at 6'2".
Over the Lawdog.
Yeah, over me at 6'2" and 170, being a power forward in Class 3A basketball. But regardless, it's just there are coaches that you see that they're building towards next season, but that wasn't the case last year because they had a really talented senior class. So tough to get snaps in a situation like that, but I think there were some guys that came in and did so. I know, thinking about this, and I'm probably giving more time to Weatherford, but that's from being the voice of Weatherford football.
Your guys.
Cooper Bryant, I'm looking forward to him and Jacoby Flynn in some of the skill position sets, because if they can get protection, and I would say right now, probably, I haven't checked in with Coach Sauce, but Noah Wald, the senior quarterback, stepping in and will get his first starts more than likely.
Say that name again.
Noah Wald.
Noah Wald, okay.
Noah Wald. He's a senior and 5'11", 185. But if he can get the ball to guys in space, it goes so far in high school football, and we all know that.
You say you were reading off the measurements for that offensive line. You hope you have a couple of running backs that can get behind them and find some holes.
Yeah. Ty Short played a lot of snaps at running back the last couple of seasons. He's a big body kid, and 5'10", 215. I don't care what level it is. Yeah. That's a big running back. And then also some other kids. I think Riker Smith is somebody they were looking at. If I remember right, I misplaced my notes that I wrote down. And then I think Luke Downs may play some running back as well. But I forgot to mention Isaiah Raji on the offensive line. He's coming in at a 6'2", 235. So
power lifter, strong kid.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So get a couple of kids healthy also, and we know, and this, it all starts on the offensive and defensive lines. That's where you set the tone and things like that. And that was the thing about Elgin last year, Luke. That Ritzenmeyer kid,
quarterback, right?
No, he's a running back.
Running back, okay.
I've said this on social media, and I hope nobody takes it, like it's an insult, but it's meant as a compliment. He ran the ball like it was a street fight. I mean, he just a violent runner.
Yeah.
And he had two D1 linemen, paving the way for him. And I know, but I looked in Pigskin Preview, and I didn't get stats for the state title game, but they said they ran him 42 times against Tuttle.
Wow.
42
That's a
times.
lot.
Yeah. And then they also have talent on the skill positions too. So Elgin, favorite, and I really can't go against the Vipe ratings here, Luke. Elgin 1, Clinton 2, Weatherford 3, Cache 4, Elk City 5, Douglas and Bridge Creek bringing up the back end. I'll say this about Elk City. Jeremiah Jackson and Tucker Garza are two players that can elevate. If they can elevate the players around them, Coach Zach Maynard, I think, probably be liking what he sees from his Elks this season.
They were another team that was in a couple of close games last year. I remember the close one with Clinton, but just like Weatherford, another young team who has a bunch of roles to fill, and it's just going to be up to the young kids to see if they want to fill those shoes.
And one thing about the Weatherford game is that was the thing about Weatherford last season is they really should have put Clinton away easier than they did, and they should have put Elk City away easier than they did, but they got the wins. That's really what mattered. Yeah. But you're talking about Weatherford with some of the most experience in the state at linebacker, and they're running that Tucker Garza out of the backfield on wheel routes, I think it was. Yeah. And he's picking up chunk yardage. It's like, guys, he's a pretty good player, but I know the Jeremiah Jackson kid, they're high on him as well. And Coach Zach Maynard he'll have his Elks ready. Elk City has been on a run ever since, I guess, 2019 or 2020. They've really, they've made the playoffs. So they've tasted success, and really with all three of these programs, Luke, you could say it's kind of a matter of reloading, not rebuilding.
100%. It seems like everybody has had big classes, and it's just a matter of like I said earlier, what they have in the chambers.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Weatherford, they will open the season with Kingfisher on September 5th coming to town. Clinton, they are going to be hosting, I think Coach Higbee said that Heritage Hall game might have got scrubbed. They were set to play week 0, and I don't think they are.
They lost John Marshall, right?
Okay.
And they got Heritage Hall, I think.
Okay. So that's what he said. Sucks to lose your memory, Luke. Anyways, so
Kingfisher will have one of my coach that I had all 4 years of high school moved to Kingfisher this offseason. Brady Wardlaw is their new offensive coordinator.
Okay.
He's been go for about 10 years.
That will be interesting. And then Elk City, I think they start with Canadian Texas on week 0, the 29th of August. And that's a series they've had going for at least the last 3 seasons. And Canadian's like a premier runner in Class 3A in Texas, which I'm not sure how that translates to 4A in Oklahoma, but it's probably about on par.
Probably about the same. And those classes in Texas are probably double, triple the size of the classes in Oklahoma.
For sure. All right. So Class A, Division 1, District 1 is going to be near and dear to your heart, as you're going to be the voice of Watonga Eagle football on Wright Media once again. And we talked about it off the air. They won one game last year, won Merritt in their finale, and you were sick in the parking lot and didn't get to call it.
It was a rough one. I showed up to the game gung-ho, ready to go, and I don't know if I just ate something funky or what, but a couple hours before game time, I was trying to get the rally part of the puke and rally going, but there was no rally.
Chuck and puke. Yeah. So, well, and you're going to have a new coach that you'll be getting to know as Coach. Tag on it. What was the guy's coach?
Last year?
Yeah.
Matt Walter was last year's coach.
Yeah. I interviewed him. He's no longer there. And so now they bring in an alum.
Yes.
Is what I understand. And Greg Johnson steps in at year 1 for the Watonga Eagles. Right now, Watonga's picked 5th in Class A Division 1, which is just murderer's row of Class A Division 1 football. You've got Hooker and Fairview, and now, out of all this stuff with Hooker and Fairview playing for a state title, and then last year Rejoice winning, and now Cashin's back. Yep. they're
just boils my blood.
Yeah.
They're picked to win the district.
Pigskin Preview has Cashin, Hooker, Fairview, Hinton, Watonga, Merritt, Sayre, and Crescent. So
Deer Creek must have had a bunch of castaways that went down the road to Cashin.
They could have. Yeah. Not that goes on with the OSSAA vigilantly watching. I'm going to say that. Their state rankings, Rejoice Christian is picked 1st, Pecola 2nd, Pawnee 3rd, and Cashin 4th. Hooker and Fairview are 7 and 8 in the A1 preseason top 10. Now, when you were at Minko, were you guys in that crazy district with like Hinton and Tonkawa and Cashin and all that?
No, we never had Hinton in our district. Our district was Cashin, Christian Heritage, Crescent, Wynnewood. We always had a tough district, but it always came down to us and Cashin. And my 4 years in high school, Cashin played in the state championship 3 times.
Yeah, they were on a roll. And that would be, they won it 20 and 21. Then Fairview wins 2 in a row. And then last season, Rejoice Christian. I think my last season at Friday Night Finals, or it could have been my next to last season, I want to say that district was odd. It had like 7 teams. It might have been 2019. And it was like you had Hinton, Cashin, Tonkawa, and maybe Watonga. And it's like that year, I think it was 2019, Tonkawa had just one of the best defenses ever, but they weren't able to.
They played Christian Heritage in the state championship game.
Did they? Okay.
Yes.
Was that a different class?
No, that would have been Class A. That would have been my freshman year. It was Christian Heritage and Tonkawa. Christian Heritage made it to the state championship as a 4 seed in the playoffs.
Okay. Because I'm not seeing Christian Heritage anywhere on their list of champions.
It might have been Tonkawa who won it. It might have been Tonkawa who won the championship.
Tonkawa won state. 2019 Ringling, then, like I said, 20 and 21 Cashin, 22 and 23 Fairview. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Sure. And, it's once again kind of like that Class A, Class 4A District 1. Class A Division 1 District 1 is just a meat grinder, and you've got 3 teams in that district, well, 3 that we have in our area, that are breaking in new coaches. Hinton with Josh Cooper, and Merritt with Dustin Beasley, and he takes over. Grant Potter stepped away from Hinton, and then Brian Richardson stepped away from Merritt after several years. Both those coaches had been there quite a while and established the program. So now, it's, it'll be interesting to see if Watonga, we'll root for them. Well, Sayre's in that district too. So Coach Craig Hickson, Sayre picked next to last. And I just think they've got a little more talent than that. I don't know.
I would have to agree, especially with that run heavy offense. That's a tough offense to defend. And they definitely got some talent coming back. But like you said, I'm definitely going to be rooting for the Watonga Eagles this season. They got some talent coming back. Trace Dobbins, he's a running back, played a little bit everywhere last year.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He really is.
The definition of a gamer for sure.
Was it last year that they had the Clinton transfer, Jeremiah Barker, I think, there? Or was that 2 seasons ago?
2 seasons ago.
Okay.
I can't think of the kid's name now. He played receiver last year.
Okay.
They had 2 Clinton transfers, and one of them graduated last year.
Okay. That might have been it. But, still, I'll probably take Coach Hickson to be up there closer to the 4 and 5 spot over Hinton, Watonga, and Merritt. That's just, you've got a proven commodity, and a system that will, befuddle a lot of defenses. That wing multiple wing and stuff. I feel bad for Max Patton and White Porter trying to call it, because I called one Sayre game back in 2022, and I had a heck of a time.
I know when they played Watonga last year, I had a tough time calling it. It is a quick hitting offense, and just like that, they're lost in the hole, and you're not going to see a number.
Well, Vipe mentions quarterback Boomer Mendenhall for the Watonga Eagles, so that will be that'll be interesting to see how they run their system and how they do things. And then also with Sayre, Dustin McSorley, that kid, 5'11", 195, and he's a runner and a linebacker, so they're going to have a lot of fun with him. And then also Mossberg brother, his brother
Braden Mossberg,
6'4", 198 receiver. So when they do pass, they'll have a big, tall target as well. So, but anyways, that'll be a lot of fun to catch District 1, and you'll be able to catch Luke on Watonga Eagles TV. And then they split up Class A, and so Thomas falls into the Division II. And you know what's funny, Luke, is by numbers alone, Thomas could play 8-man.
Yeah.
They're the lowest ADM of any of the 11-man schools, I'm pretty certain. And they're picked to win the district again this year, and it's a tough one also. Thomas, Mangum, Texoma is going to be really good, and Moreland should bounce back. Funny pick here by Pigskin Preview, and I need to reach out to Cordell because they're another one that's breaking in a new coach. But Cordell's not picked at the bottom.
Really?
Yeah. Cordell in that district, A2, District 1, Thomas, Mangum, Texoma, Goodwill, Moreland, Cordell, Boone Apache, who was a state
For
finalist.
a tournament team last year, yeah.
Yeah. Southwest Covenant and Carnegie. So I don't know what Cordell – I mean, I'll wish that for them. I'll wish
100%.
competitiveness. But Nick Bobick steps in his first coach. Didn't we talk the other day? They've won no games in 3 seasons.
They are on a 32-game losing streak.
Yeah. So, I mean,
tough job to take over, but I got to talk to him the other day, and I liked what he had to say. It seemed like he had a good approach to things.
Well, week 0, they host Sayre, and that might be – I mean, I won't have a game to do week 0. I live in Thomas. I won't be able to go watch them play. They don't have a week 0 game. So Cordell Sayre might be my week 0 viewing.
You'll find some Beckham County brawl action.
Beckham and Washita.
Is it not Sayre and Cordell at the Beckham County brawl?
Cordell is in Washita County.
Who is Sayre's Beckham County brawl with?
Merritt. Yeah.
Merritt.
And then Mangum's I called Mangum. I have called a game in Mangum, Oklahoma. And it was when Sayre went there in 2022, but now they're in different classes. But, you know, Thomas, they had so much firepower last year, Luke, with Brody Willis. And I can't remember. Did Landon Wald get hurt some last year?
I'm not sure.
Can't remember, but Warren Comet-Siva, he lives across the street from me. He's going to be the tight end. He's a linebacker. He got a nice write-up by Pigskin Preview. But it all settles around Ty Littlebird, and you're not just talking about, winning games, making the playoffs, and maybe winning district. You're talking about another run at least a state semifinal, with Thomas being ranked 3rd preseason in Class A Division II.
I don't think Thomas has any goals less than a state championship. And Thomas, that's just kind of their MO, is to get that far. Ty Littlebird at quarterback, he's been the guy since his freshman season. There's not been very many scenarios that he hasn't been in at this point. So he is the man for the job at this point. Wiley Henson at running back, he is another bruiser running back. Just likes to hit people, it seems like. So
he does. He's got some elusive moves, but I think he loves contact more.
No doubt.
And he's been running the rock since he was a freshman, and those guys are him and Landon and Warren and Ty are seniors this year, so they've got this is their big go. They lose Stinson Ward to graduation. He was a big one on the line, Caden Wilcox and some others, but I think Bob Ward, head coach, feels like he's got some kids that can step up and block and give Ty enough time to do what he does, and then also make some holes for Wiley in the run game. But it will be interesting to see, because, last year Brody Willis transferred from Weatherford to Thomas, he and some others. And, the Jace Valines kid will be part of that team as well. And then also the younger Willis, he's prepared to be the next quarterback. What they do with him and some things, you never know, but it'll be fun. And I know Thomas Terrier Nation is excited, and they're looking forward to this season, as this is really kind of what last year was a great season. I think they felt like they could, they made a run at the state title. I think they felt like they could win it. They lose a tough one to Tallahena in the semis, and then Woodland goes on to win it. But I'll say this, these kids that are seniors this year, this town's been banking on them since they were junior high. I mean, they knew what they had at an early time. You really are in the dark there in your place. Have you paid your light bill?
Yeah, I got the lights on.
Look up towards it here.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Look up towards the light or something. We're losing you. No, but it's going to be exciting. And Thomas, like I mentioned, starts their season against Sayre. So Sayre will have a game in hand when they travel to Thomas there at Ross Field to take on the Terriers. But it will be a lot of fun to watch them. And you can catch them on the radio on News Talk KCLI 99.3, as well as Terrier TV at Wright Media. So, yeah, no week 0 for Thomas this year, as they will take on Sayre on September 5th. And then you'll be calling their game against Watonga at Watonga. And I guess Watonga's probably got like Sky Suites and full video board. I mean, they've added so much to that stadium there.
They do have a nice video board, turf field, and a nice press box for us. And they have just finished. They had it for last basketball season, but their new gymnasium, and they should have a new field house for the football team for this season. So yeah, big improvements in Watonga for sure.
Big things moving, and they're going to expect a lot of improvement and some results. So good luck to Coach Greg Johnson, and good luck to you calling the Watonga Eagles. A lot of Eagles in Western Oklahoma when you think about it. And then I'm not going to dig into Burns Flat, Dill City. And
right. You know what I found out too before Hydro-Eakly consolidated? It was the Eakly Eagles.
Yeah, that makes sense. I need to ask Coach Shelley Pond at Weatherford, because she starred for Oni, I was told, and I
could probably find that out.
I don't know what Oni was, but
I don't either.
So Class B, Division I, you've got Burns Flat Dill City, the only squad in our area, listing area that is in that class, other than actually not even Sealing, because they are in the Division II of Class B. But then Class C, we drop, Class B Division II. You've got Sealing. They're predicted to finish second in the state. They're predicted to win their district over O'Keene, Shattuck, Boise City, Ringwood, and Canton. But Waletka, Pigskin Previews selection to win Class B Division II. And, I think, didn't Gary Manuel step down from Sealing?
Not that I know of. I talked to him this summer.
Okay, why am I thinking? Yeah, he's on there. Who was I thinking that left? Maybe I'd heard a rumor or something. Somebody saying that he was a candidate for the Watonga job at one time.
Interesting. I don't know. Didn't hear anything.
Maybe I was just repeating stuff that wasn't really true. You never know. But Class C, I talked to Zach House, head coach at Corn Bible Academy, earlier this week, and that interview is up on the Facebook and on the YouTube page at Lawdog Sports. But Corn Bible, coming off of a 5-5 season last year, just a bit of a slide late, cost them a playoff, chance. But between them and Mountain View, Gotebo, and Geary in our listening area, it's tough competition. He's got some kids that I know he's excited about. One in particular, Luke, is, and if I call you Jeremy, I apologize, because that's normal. But Cruz Biddle, 6'1", 230-pound senior linebacker, and then also will obviously an 8-man will help out on the offense. But they're excited about him. And then Geary and Mountain View Gotebo, I know the toe and tie kid at Mountain View Gotebo is expected to have a big season. But really, at the end of the day, it all just kind of boils down to Tipton and Ryan in the prognosticators' view.
Tipton, Ryan, powerhouses right there. Yeah. They've definitely Tipton. They've won 3 in a row, and I think the past 10 years they've won 5 or 6. So it's kind of crazy what they're doing down there. Yeah. But Corn Bible, the one kid or the one other name I know from the Crusaders is Zach Zebach. He has been a stud for them, football, basketball-wise. That's the name you always hear for them, and he'll be their senior quarterback this year. Yeah. Mountain View Godibo, they are a school that just seems like they always reload on athletes.
Yeah.
They are always in the mix for everything athletics.
Yep. Jeff Coakley goes 4-7 last season there for the Tigers, but like I said, Creed Toentai, 5'9", 165 pounds. He's a junior. He's the guy that they're looking to really kind of make their engine go.
Trigger Troglin as well, Creed Toentai. They've had several names on the Vibe area polls as well.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure what type of offenses these 8-man teams run. It'd be interesting to see. Are they more run heavy or pass heavy, or what really creativity they can come up with in the 8-man game?
I think and I'm not an 8-man expert by any means, but I think it's kind of like everything else. You want to predicate with the run because you're dealing with a shorter field, for one thing,
and a skinnier field, not as wide field.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant narrow. I'm sure they still go 100 yards, but you're dealing with a more narrow field, so you have to utilize those alleys up the middle, just like in 11-man football, I'm sure. But that's going to be an interesting one to follow. And man, I'm telling you, high school football, I'll be on the air September 5th, as like I mentioned, the Kingfisher Yellow Jackets come to Woody Roof Field. Clinton will have their hands full in the non-district, but it's going to be really exciting going forward, and you'll be able to catch a lot of the action at Wright Media as well as on Wright Radio. And Luke, it's interesting because at Wright Media, there's schools that just stream like Sayre and Watonga, and then there's schools that are radio and streaming. I still love the radio. I still love listening to the radio, and it's hard for me on sports that only stream because I have trouble striking that balance of not overtelling the story like you do in a radio broadcast.
Yes.
Like, they know that it just got hit the left field. They know that the pitch chopped off of the backstop. I mean, things like that are interesting, but 100.3 FM Coyote Classic, and that's Weatherford Eagles radio, and then 97.3 The Score will be Clinton, and then 99.3 KCLI News Talk will be Thomas Terrier on the radio, and then also Wright Media has all of the streams that they offer, as well as Hydro-Eakly Bobcat TV. So they got you covered in Western Oklahoma on Wright Media.
There's a bunch. Come Friday night, you shouldn't have any open air space. There's always going to be a game on Wright Media.
That's right. And it's really fun this season because, like I said, there's so much unknown with so much of it, but then also it's just a situation too where it would be amazing to see one of our teams that we cover. I'll prefer Weatherford, I'll say that. But Thomas could be looking at an extended playoff run. Weatherford and Clinton would love to get into the playoffs and make a run as well. And then also, Watonga, if they can live up to that prognostication, them and Sayre, and fight their way into the playoffs in that really tough District 1. But we'll find out a lot as we go forward.
Those deep playoff runs make for a lot of excitement, a lot of just hopes and good times, really going to the games and just experiencing all of that. But yeah, really looking forward to it all.
Well, Luke, I stopped by a local retailer today and I picked up a koozie.
There you go.
And established 1901 SWOSU Bulldog koozie. Not too
Standing
bad.
firmly on the hilltop.
Got the USA on the bottom. But I know Andrew Rice enters his second season. This is his second season, right?
Yes, sir.
And pulled off some wins last year, a big blowout win over your big rival to end the season. There's got to be a lot of optimism on the hilltop.
No doubt. Coach Rice really seems like he has just turned around the thought of, or the talk about SWOSU football. Just seems like around town the expectations and the hopes are up, and everybody just talks about SWOSU football with it seems like a better attitude now.
Yeah. Well, and attitude really is where it starts. I get that. I really totally get that. But attitude ends when you kick off from the midfield,
Right.
and you got to get out there and execute. But I will say this, that season is coming up so quick when you think about it, Luke. I mean, we are 3 weeks.
Less than a month.
Yeah, 3 weeks away, 3 weeks and a day away from the start of the Southwestern Oklahoma State University football season. I mean, you're the sideline reporter for the broadcast on 95.5 The Coyote, part of your full slate. But, I like some of the pickups that Coach Rice he's recruited the state well. Yeah. It also looks like he's picked up some kids from the transfer portal as well.
Those kids from the transfer portal are all Oklahoma high school kids. The quarterback from LSU, the running back from Kansas, all of those guys are from the eastern part of the state or played high school football in the eastern part of the state, which is where Coach Rice is from, where he started his coaching career at. So cool to see him going back home to bring back those big-time recruits.
Well, and, in high school football, kids that win championships know how to win, and he pulled in the younger Adesola, and it would be Josh Adesola, and I've called both of their games against Weatherford Michael and Josh. So, he's pulling in players from all kinds of different programs within the state, and like you mentioned, some of them have gone other places and played. Couple of three Weatherford kids at least on this squad. Steele Chisholm, the linebacker, Nick Jett, the receiver, and Elijah Raji, the lineman. So that's just three I can think of. There might be another one if I look real close, but there's a reason for optimism. There's a reason for excitement at SWOSU now. There
definitely is, and 3-8 last year, and probably another 3 games. We had a lead in the fourth quarter. At one point it looked like it was SWOSU's game to win, and we just let it slip away. But a lot of optimism, and Chuck, I'm beyond pumped to get out and watch some football for SWOSU.
Sure, and the preseason stuff from the Great American Conference is coming out. I know I saw soccer. I think was picked 4th in the GAC.
SWOSU picked tied for 5th.
Tied for 5th
on soccer.
And then football, have they done their preseason picks yet?
Football, we're 8th, and volleyball, we are 3rd.
Okay. So Josh Collins and the volleyball team ready to get going, Coach Pearson and the soccer team ready to get going. And then also, 8th in this conference, when you consider what this team has been over the last 4 or 5 seasons, that's saying a lot. I mean, that's some optimism for this program.
It definitely is. When you look at the teams that are below us, Arkansas Tech, Oklahoma Baptist, East Central, all those teams are teams that have been consistently beating SWOSU the past handful of years. And for, the conference head coaches to see what Coach Rice has done, and for them also to have, hope or optimism for SWOSU is a good sign.
See a guy that will be on the radar for if he reels off 7 or 8 wins this season, be on the radar for a D1 job?
Say that again, you cut out.
Is he a guy that would be on the radar for a D1 job if they reeled off 7 or 8 wins this season?
Coach Rice?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a head a coaching job, but definitely would be on the radar. Josh Kirkland, the last full-time head coach we had here, he won 3 games his first year here, and he was gone after that first season. So, yeah.
I that one, and I'm not trying to disqualify what you said. That one was odd because he took a director of operations job in North Texas, and I just thought you go from head coach to, basically a
recruiting position.
Yeah, a head bottle washer position at North Texas. Nothing against Coach Kirkland. He was a nice guy, but the way things kind of went here with that move, and then why he took that spot, maybe just wanted to be in a different area, and North Texas is a quality school. But looking at the Great American Conference, obviously Harding and Ouachita the two biggies at the top, and one with a national title within the last 2 years. So big time play there. And like you said, I haven't looked, the schedule, your Arkansas trips, which, by the way, those Arkansas trips with Mike Smith, I mean, that's got to be some of the most interesting conversation along the highway going east on I-40.
Ohio State Buckeyes, the news anchors that he gets his influence from, and
nothing but 80s on
yes, the music. The music it's his spot, the same Spotify playlist every time. But that's why I love Mike. Mike's one of a kind for sure.
My first game I ever did for Weatherford Sports was a basketball game back in December of 2021, and Mike went with me because he was going to kind of break me in on calling basketball. I'd done live radio, but I'd never done play-by-play, and some people would say it still shows today. But anyways, we're talking, and we're kind of this and that. I shared some police stories with him, and I could tell he's like, you can stop that right now.
Yeah.
Some of my stories, but yeah, Mike, hailing from Ohio and a big Buckeyes fan, and I know he's been extremely pumped since last year's national title. But
yeah,
it'll be
a pretty tight ship on air.
Yeah, it will be really interesting. And SWOSU gets their season started Thursday, September 4th, as we mentioned, 3 weeks and a day away. And that'll be a lot of fun as Arkansas Tech comes to the hillside. A lot of excitement, and hopefully we will see that show itself in the stands as well.
Yes, definitely. It's always – it just makes for a better environment, a better experiment, a better experience. And that's any game you go to at any level. It's obviously going to be funner, louder, with more people in the stands. And the players feel that too. So that's the biggest thing.
For sure. Well, D2 football, and then there's some D1 football that will go on in this state as well. We'll be looking forward to as really, I mean, what is it, August 29th or 30th?
August 28th, OSU plays.
Okay, and that's UT Martin.
Yes.
Snooze Fest. Yep. We won't know anything from that.
Nope.
You've got 80 players basically that come onto campus that don't know each other. So it's going to be interesting. And I for Mike Gundy's sake, I really hope he can reel off a respectable season after going winless in conference last year on a team that was expected to be in contention and possibly make a playoff appearance.
And not a good conference at all. The conference was not anything special. But 33, when OSU started fall camp a couple weeks ago, there were 33 players that had never had on an OSU helmet before.
Yeah.
So literally name tags on the helmets.
Hi, my name is.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys can do this year. Them and OU both kind of, there's a little bit more familiarity with OU, but kind of the same situation, not going to know anything after that first game. And then you get a juggernaut week 2.
Yeah. Go to Oregon and take on the Ducks. Who have a massive NIL, but OU unproven in a lot of areas. Mateer, we'll see what happens out of this gambling allegation. Maybe it's nothing burger. Maybe there's something smoked to the fire. Somebody's going to go dig, and I promise you that. Starling thing was that the original social media post was a guy who doesn't exist.
Yeah, I heard that today.
Yeah, but I'll say this, Luke, and I use Cash App. I've never used Venmo, but I'm going to go back and make sure that nothing I have is set to public, because why would you want anybody knowing what you've paid for at all?
It's a weird thing. Cash App isn't public, but Venmo is. And I've always thought that was weird.
It's a bit narcissistic to have everybody. I mean, especially if you're a quarterback at a D1 school,
right?
You want everybody knowing that you paid for this and paid for that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely weird, but I believe Mateer when he says it's says it's an inside joke. I personally don't think I've ever sent money on Venmo or Cash App and put what it really was for on there. So
scary part is on social media how many guys said their normal response is drugs and hookers. On the
That drugs and hookers, or
Yeah.
an 8-ball emoji,
Oh
or
gosh.
for last night, something like that.
Yeah. That's why I'm so glad you've gone to work full time before you finish college, because that had to have settled you down some.
100%. 100%.
Well, OSU gets started. It's going to be it's a wait and see. It's like a lot of programs, and I know this preview of Western Oklahoma sports has not been the most informative in some ways, but I mean, there's so many squads that it's unproven commodities.
It definitely is. There's almost too much to cover, too much to go out there and dig for. And
coaches, they don't give you anything. They play it close to the vest. But I know that we will be on the air with a lot of football coming up in the last weekend of August and the first weekend of September, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So anything else? I'm trying to think of anything else. Dallas Cowboys in disarray still. They're the most valuable franchise on the planet. But
did you hear Jerry Jones' comments about he's running a soap opera?
I only thing I saw on him was that he released that he had fought melanoma for 10 years.
That was today. Yesterday, it was that, he's got a multi-billion-dollar organization, and if his team's not in the headlines, he's going to do what it takes to get his team in the headlines.
Yeah, big talk there, old man. But right. Well, one great thing about that, Luke, is if people want to hear the Dallas Cowboys this season, News Talk KCLI is your home for Dallas Cowboys football in Western Oklahoma, as well as the OSU Cowboys on News Talk KCLI and Pistols Firing Nation, and then OU football on 97.3 The Score. I will always cross-promote Wright Media, Luke.
I appreciate it. That's I'm going to be doing my fair share of promoting this year.
That's right. Sure. Those when you're trying to wrap that trying to wrap that newscast into 4 minutes, you've got nothing but one softball score. You'll tease all the OU radio broadcasts you can, and then also 97.3 The Score is great because throughout the season they've got college football from Premier and Westwood One, and then also plenty of Westwood One games on 97.3 The Score on Sundays. So if you want to hear football on the radio, man, Wright Radio is the place.
And coming up this weekend on 97.3 The Score, we'll have preseason football, NFL preseason football.
Yeah, so all the preseason games on there too. So always a great time. And man, it's a great time getting to visit with you and preview some Western Oklahoma sports. I may start a GoFundMe to see if we can buy you some lamps for your place there. I'm kind of worried you're so in the dark.
I appreciate it. I don't have my kitchen light on. That might help, but I could probably have done that. So
the college bachelor, now full-time employee in radio stuff is you're batching it.
I'm trying to transition out of the college mindset into I'm an adult now. I got a full-time job. I got to start acting like it, right?
Well, and you golf with old guys, so that's
right. That'll definitely start wearing off on me.
We want to thank Marty Wandry and his establishment for sponsoring our golf at the Clinton Noon Lion Scramble a couple of weeks ago. We had a great time out there with me and you and Marty Wandry and Max Patton. It was a really fun Saturday. It got pretty warm, and we didn't get to eat. We didn't get to eat until like our last couple of holes. And that was an experience in itself, but it was a great time for a great event.
I told my dad we made more memories than good shots.
Yeah, so, we brought you in thinking you might be some secret ringer, and
definitely wasn't.
You're along with the rest of us with some work to do. So, anyways, but, Luke, I'm gonna let you get out of here because I know you got to be in at 6 a.m. tomorrow to get the sports rolling.
Actually, I have taken the next 2 days off. My last little taste of freedom before season starts.
Some time off before you hit the grind in those 18-hour days where you're doing sports and then calling sports and all kinds of fun stuff. But I appreciate you taking time to jump on here with me.
No doubt. I appreciate it. I always enjoy it.
All right. He's Luke Clement, the sports director at Wright Media and Wright Radio. And you can hear him tomorrow morning at 7:40 on News Talk KCLI, and then again at 7:50 on 95.5 The Coyote. Well, you're off tomorrow, so somebody Mike, I guess, will be doing sports tomorrow.
Yes.
And then, but most weekdays you can hear Luke in the 7 o'clock hour on News Talk KCLI and 95.5 The Coyote. And then We'll probably jump back on here again sometime once we've got some results under our belt and talking some things. And like I said, softball and volleyball got big stuff going on this week. I know the Best of the West is going on in Clinton. I think that's Friday and Saturday. And then the I-40 Classic is going on this weekend in Weatherford.
No doubt. Yes, so, and teams from all over coming for both of those.
A lot of teams. He's Luke Clement, sports director at Wright Media. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, voice of the Weatherford Eagles. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. I think all of our comments were from Crystal Blackwell, so we appreciate her jumping in and interacting with us. And that's why we go live on Facebook instead of pre-recording this, so that you can jump on with us. So tell your friends, subscribe, and get your notifications set so you know when we go live. And you can get on and tell us what idiots we are. So anyways.
Someone needs to tell us, right?
That's right. I don't think anybody's got to tell me. Anyways, be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll be back here with you real soon for another Western Oklahoma Sports Night. Catch all of our content on our YouTube page at Lawdog Sports. And then also follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, X, and Facebook at Lawdog Sports.